Offering her sound of conversation is Shawna Dwyer, our next PechaKucha. Shawna has lived in Chilliwack for 5 years, having moved here in 2019 to fulfill the role of Executive Director of the Chilliwack Museum and Archives. Shawna has worked in the arts, culture, and heritage sectors since 2009, starting her career as a visitor service attendant at the local museum in Lloydminster, Saskatchewan. She completed a BA in History and Anthropology through the University of Alberta and a Graduate Diploma in Heritage Resource Management through Athabasca University. Shawna remained at the Lloydminster Cultural Science Centre for nearly 10 years, fulfilling various roles, including collections, and for most of her career as the manager. Shawna has 2 young children who she is looking forward to raising in the community of Chilliwack. She enjoys hiking, backpacking with her partner, and is completing her MA in Heritage and Social History. She is also the Vice President of Heritage Chilliwack Society and a member of Soroptimist International of Chilliwack. Shawna, we're looking forward to seeing your presentation. Please come up.
Good evening, everyone. Shawna Telsqui. I'm so grateful to be here tonight on the traditional and unceded territory of the Chilliwack and Chilliwack communities of the Stalo. I would like to start my talk tonight with a very brief flashback to 2020, and I know it's a time we're all trying to forget, but I promise I have a point. I think we all realize that our lives changed significantly during COVID, and that these changes continue to have a serious impact on our lives today. When I was thinking of photos for this presentation, I thought of a donation to the archives in 2020 that featured photos taken during our 2020 lockdown. The entire community of Chilliwack was cut off as we know it. And I saw this picture and I had to include it because just a couple weeks ago, the parks in my complex were closed with the same caution tape, and my 8-year-old literally thought we were in a horror movie. But we were really, it was challenging to cope at that time. So now that I've captured your attention with these really dark photos, I do want to talk about a project that came out of the Chilliwack Museum and Archives during this time. It was a project that captures the importance of creativity to the human condition and how we use art and creativity and community to heal. The project that I'm speaking of is the Community Art Show, which in its very first year was referred to as Creative in Quarantine. This community exhibit opened in the fall of 2020, following a 6-month closure. An open call was placed to the community to submit imaginative works created in Chilliwack during the COVID-19 pandemic. The call was met with an overwhelming response, and over 100 pieces of work were submitted in a variety of mediums across demographics and ages. Even my son Theodore, who could not be bothered to be inside and would rather be dirt biking, partaked in some artwork, much to his sister's delight, whom he refuses to play with most of the time. I really wanted to highlight this piece specifically. It's titled Giving Our Hearts, and it was completed by a grade 6 class at Vetter Elementary. It came out of a project of people placing artwork in their windows for first responders. And it's such a small gesture during a time of significant turmoil that came from a place of creativity. In 2021, we decided to do an open call for the Community Art Show once again, but it wouldn't be specific to the pandemic. However, it would be an opportunity, once again, for the community to showcase their creative sides. There was no specifications, no age limits, and no jury. And once again, the community answered the call with excitement and enthusiasm. Many of the contributors were not and are not artists in the professional sense of the word. They are people in the community who love to create and were grateful to be provided a safe, supportive spot to display their artwork. And so we continued this initiative in 2020 and 2022 and 2023, and we'll continue to do so. I do want to go a couple steps beyond this particular project to really highlight how creativity is used as a conduit for healing and expression and how it can bring a community together. I've got some more professional examples, but then I have a very important personal one that I would like to share. But first, a little more information on what we're all about at the Chilliwack Museum and Archives. The Museum and Archives is an innovative, responsive, and inclusive organization that connects people with the past, present, and future. We aim to provide experiences with local and global significance, collaborate with our community in a representative, participatory, and inclusive manner, develop relevant programming that is intellectually stimulating, and ensure our diverse histories are accessible to the community. In 2021, we held the exhibition I Remember, aiming to foster personal recollections of life and community, captured in glass mason jars and assembled from found objects. Guests were invited to craft their own connection to personal memory while exploring the dynamic range of the collective memory within the community. We had over 170 submissions. In 2022, Tracy May Chambers approached us and created a site-specific art installation on the CMA exterior as part of a Canada-wide project broaching the subject of reconciliation and decolonization. It was intended to physically intervene on colonial spaces and symbolize the resilience of Indigenous communities. Our current exhibition, Our Journey for Inclusion, features select work from the exhibition From the Inside Out, a multimedia exhibit that weaved together stories from 28 people institutionalized in BC. The artwork is based on the memories of institutional life and returned to the community. Another component of this exhibition is the Wholeness Juried Art Show, which features community-submitted artworks relating to the theme of wholeness. The principle that people with diverse abilities are whole and valued, and the importance of embracing disability as part of a person's identity and source of empowerment. Okay, time to get personal, my favorite thing. I'm going to give a really brief Sparks Notes of this family tale, and I hope I don't muddle it up too bad because I know my granddad's watching. In the early 2000s, my granddad was diagnosed with cancer. He underwent various surgeries, over 20 rounds of radiation, and various diagnoses. He was lucky enough that he was able to recover. However, while he was recovering, he will adamantly admit that the most challenging part was the mental recovery. This was one of his very first paintings. It's our family cabin in Badger Lake, Newfoundland. He had always said when he was going to retire, he wanted to start painting. So when he was healing from his cancer journey, that was the time to do it. So my nanny got him some lessons with a teacher who taught art, obviously. And he started painting, and he still continues to paint to this day, and has always said how important it is for his emotional and mental well-being. So in short, these are my cute kids. This is my final slide, just so you can see them. I hope you were able to take something positive away from this short talk on how art, or really creativity in any form, can be a positive conduit in your life. Kwashoy. Thank you.